Hey everybody, welcome back to the Danger Planet. Today we're talking about the Witches of Dathomir squad pack for Star Wars Shatterpoint, and I'm here with Vitaly and Ian. Say hello, boys. Hello.
Ah,
And then make a Zabrak noise.
ooh.
That's what everything sounds like. That's not Zabraks go roar. We have a Zabrak-filled box for you today, folks. We are talking about the Witches of Dathomir box set squad pack, Star Wars Shatterpoint, other words too. We'll start things off with Madame Talzin, Mother Talzin, if you will. She is an 8 squad point leader, primary unit with 3 force points. She has a tactic called Obscuring Shadows. At the start of this unit's activation, choose another allied Dathomirian unit. One character in that chosen unit may dash. Great, we've seen this before. All kinds of things. She has an activated ability called Manipulating Hand that costs 2 force. Choose an enemy character within 4. The chosen character may dash. You resolve this move. That's a new one. We have not yet seen anybody be able to do that outside of shoves, but you literally just get to make your opponent's models dash. What a world. Thoughts? I love this.
So very good.
Huge fan. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's 2 force, which is a lot, but oh boy.
Yeah, just choosing to have them just go away, or if you want to pull them right up into the face of some melee beater that you're having your strike force that doesn't have to move and can just focus and punch.
Yeah.
A lot of good you can do with that.
So we have Life Drain, which is after an allied Dathomirian character makes an attack. If the defender suffered 1 or more damage, then this unit may use this ability. That allied Dathomirian character may heal 1, which is like, all right, it's not too bad. It lets them heal a little bit after they go. But importantly, it doesn't cost force until she's wounded. So that's pretty good. Like, you just get to, any Dathomirian gets to heal 1 out any range whenever they attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is a great buff for
it's a great buff for Maul. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I was gonna say Darth Maul just being able to help himself by beating things up and then healing. Just doesn't even have to knock him out. Just do a damage and get some health back.
Yeah, buddy. And then we have her identity ability, Wrath of the Great Mother. Once per turn, when an enemy character wounds another allied unit, after this effect is resolved, 1 character in this unit may dash and make a 5 dice ranged attack targeting that enemy character. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've seen this before. It's not really exactly unique, although it's a little bit specialized for her thing. But not bad. Not bad, Mother Talzin. She wants to take care of her flock, aka mind control all the male Zabraks. It's fine. They wanted that anyway.
It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, what a world. Mother Talzin. I am a huge fan of the Witches of Dathomir. They're very cool in the lore. They're the sort of grumpier female Zabraks, but it's cool. Because Dathomir, what a place.
Yes.
I'm of the opinion that she is going to be an extremely powerful primary if you are good at positioning, because she's not like a stat, she's not like a pure stat stick to hit people with, but like, man, is manipulating hand a really maybe the singular most powerful ability we have in the game right now, because getting to dictate someone else's movement is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that being able to dictate movement is huge, and like, we're at the position where, in most cases, to get people off of objectives to take them, you need to take an action that's a combat action, and it has to shove, and that's basically it. Sometimes there's a little bit of pushy stuff otherwise than that, but really, we haven't seen something as powerful as move somebody like 5 inches plus away. And if it's something that's already activated and you're at the early stack, or if you're like 2 or 3 in and they've already Shatterpointed and activated that thing, that guy's gone for a while.
Maybe just wounded, because you can just be like, hey, why don't you have Kraken? Like, come just step into Savage Opress and cease to exist.
Oh, you mean that support secondary unit that you were saving? Well, actually, hi.
Yeah.
This is Maul. Have you met? You guys should go hang out.
Also, fairly importantly, because you are making them dash and not pushing them, they can use ingress points.
Yep. Yep.
So
yep.
you can move someone very far with this if they are in the right spot, or if you are being crafty with this.
Yeah, for sure. You aren't wrong. And like also like there's a chance that you get it for free, right? So I guess we probably talk about her stance card. She has Great
Yeah.
Mother and Wrath. As Great Mother, she's ranged for 7 dice on the ranged attack, 6 dice on the melee attack, and 7 ranged and 5 melee defense. And then on the other one, we have 6 dice for ranged, 7 for melee, and 5 defense for ranged, 6 defense for melee. So she has like actually like legitimately solid stats numbers wise dice on either side.
Yeah.
She's very well balanced. Her weakest defense is 5, which for like a for a 10 health primary. Oh, and also she has 10 stamina, 3 durability. I say that before, but and like we're looking at basically crits all the way down, right? Her weaker attack side does not have a crit at 1 on either, but on Great Mother she has a crit right away at 1 expertise and a hit for 1 or 2, which is really good on magics. And on the other side, her ranged attack has her melee attack has a crit right away. The ranged attack only has a hit. So like that's not the worst, but it's not the best by far.
Interestingly, in melee, she's always guaranteed to do damage as long as you get 1 expertise.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she has a damage, and all of her range just add extra crits. When you get to 4, she's like just 2 crits and 2 damage, or crit damage crit hit damage, or crit hit damage, depending on what you're looking at. Her defensive tree is actually just identical. It doesn't change regardless of what stat you're in. So 1 or 2 is a block, which is kind of garbage, but 3 is 2 blocks and a crit becomes a hit. So sort of like a block and a crit. And then 4 is 2 blocks, a crit becomes a hit, and a hit becomes a miss. Which is really strong. Like on 7 or 6 or 7 dice, you're probably getting 3. Right?
If I had to pick a side here, I'm generally gonna have Mother Talzin on Great Mother. That feels like the more just generally useful side.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of
like
debuffs and movement effects.
Yeah.
It gives her a lot more dice. Her melee is still pretty good on that side because of her expertise track.
Yeah.
But like if she's going into melee and like if it's like, all right, Talzin's going to melee this turn, I need her to kill something, you probably flip to Wrath because her Conjured Blade on Wrath side is kind of nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're in the position of being in her strong tree, regardless, she's going to be guaranteeing crits on any expertise. But I think the big thing that Wrath has going for it, by far, obviously you have a lot of damage, you have some healing, and you have a bunch of status effects all over the place. But 3 steps in, with guaranteed crits in melee, you are getting her free move somebody, manipulating hand, anyone within range 4. And if you're getting into melee, you're going to be really close to their battle line. You're going to be up doing stuff at a point, and you're going to be like, you go where I want you to, and I didn't pay 2 force to do it.
Right.
A funny thing you can do too, if you get to 4 down her track on the Wrath side, is move somebody to a spot they don't want to be in, and then you put strained on them. And then they're just standing there like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. Also, I mean, let's talk the implication of strained with manipulating hand. If there's somebody with strained and you make them take a dash move, they're taking 3 damage.
Yep, it's pretty good.
It's wild. Which obviously is why strained is after that on the step, because you resolve everything in order. So you can't.
Otherwise, that would just be plus 3 damage.
It would just be ridiculous. But like, dude, can I just say, doing it for real or not, like throwing strained on stuff becomes so much more crazy with Mother Talzin. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Vitaly, what you got?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's her ranged profile does feel like where you want to be for most of the game, and then when it gets down, like maybe she's been wounded a couple times, and now that move is like a 3 or 4 cost to get off, that's when you're like, if I really need this, I swap over to her melee, I jump in there and try and proc 3 attacks, because it doesn't matter how many times she's been wounded, the cost is 0 if she gets it off of her damage trait.
Yep. You are not wrong. Strong play. And like she's hitting like a Mack truck, right? Like 7 dice plus buffs if you have any focus, maybe 8. Like you're probably getting to 3 on a primary, right?
Yeah, I mean she's not a like just straight up killer like Anakin, Vader, or Grievous, but she's not weak.
And then on top
True.
of that too, the other nice thing is if you do jump in, proc her movement ability, you don't have to target the enemy that you just attacked. You could beat down some support unit that has lesser defense and then use that on like a primary or secondary that's hanging out nearby and get them to move away, and you can clear an objective off in one swing with Talzin if you get enough damage through.
Yeah, literally, like the only thing that I'm kind of sad about is that, given just like lore implications, I'm kind of sad that she has to choose an enemy character and not just choose a character within 4, because like I get it, she's trying to fuck with the other people, but like it should be like or at least give me enemy or Dathomir, right? Like she can use her magic to manipulate Maul and Savage. Like that's a thing. That's factually a thing that happens. So I'm just kind of sad that she can't make your own dudes move. But it's fine.
While I agree with you,
I mean she can.
I don't know how often you'd actually do that.
Oh, I don't know, man. If you like tactic obscuring shadows, move Savage Oppress or Maul or whoever. Maul is the other primary, right? Then manipulating hand, I'm gonna go into combat, melee punch you, let Maul move again. Then Maul activates, boop. You know, I think as a free thing from the melee.
As a free thing, sure. I'm saying more for like the two force cost for it.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you gotta yeet characters all the way across the board, and if you can get them all the way across the board and just murder something, especially on us once you get to objective 2 and 3 in the current mission pack, right? You get to these points where you sometimes are like, well, if I can go take that objective, I win, and it's not going to happen because I'm all the way on the other side of the board. But fuck it, I guess I will now. You know?
Sure.
So maybe I'm kind of sad that it doesn't work that way, but you know what I'm not sad about? Mr. Oppress. That's right. You heard it here. Not first, probably, because I'm sure you've seen these already. But Savage Oppress, Savage, as Vitaly wants me to say, but I'm not gonna. It's Savage.
As his name.
No, thank you. Savage Oppress. 4 points, secondary unit. He has so many abilities. Okay, so we get 2 activated
abilities. In the running for just best secondary in the game now.
Him, he wants to hang out with his bro and just bro out, dude, and do bro stuff and bro things. But Dark Fury, activated ability to
so good.
2 force. Choose an enemy unit within range 2 and roll 5 attack dice. The chosen unit suffers damage for each hit and crit in the roll. If the chosen character is a force user, they suffer damage, they also gain exposed, which is just an ability, you know, the thing that you can do before you punch them, and then they're exposed. Wild stuff. Holy crap. Kind
of feels like you want to run him with Grievous.
It almost feels like you do want to run him with Grievous because, oh boy. Yeah, we also see Furious Rush, single force point. Each character in this unit may dash. If this character is injured, they can advance instead. Wild. It costs 2, but it gets better. So like, you know, it's pretty good. We have abilities, the innate abilities as well. We have 3 of those because this guy's got so many things. When a character in this unit makes an attack targeting a primary character, add 2 dice, overpowering monster. So he's 7 dice normally or 9 dice normally, depending on whether you're attacking a primary or not. Wild stuff. We have Pain as weakness. This character has protection and steadfast. Just always.
So good.
Wild. And then lastly, Unwitting Brute. When an allied Separatist Alliance primary unit or an allied Dathomirian primary unit starts its activation within 3, one character in this unit may dash. And now this is an innate ability, not a reaction, which means you don't ever have to pay force for it. So when your characters are activating, he just gets to come 2.
It's extremely nice that 3 of his abilities are innate abilities, and they're all great.
Yeah. And again, overempower monster, innate ability. Doesn't cost force ever.
Yep.
It doesn't have a cost. Protection and steadfast just happen. And he's 10 durability, 10 stamina, 2 durability. He's 2 obviously because he's a secondary unit, and also currently canonically to date, 100% of male Zabrak have 2 durability.
He's actually 11 stamina because protection means that you have to deal 11 damage to him to kill him.
Yeah, which puts things that can kill him in a single swipe at basically like 3 primary characters. That's it.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, unless we're accounting for like, debuffs and
yeah,
whatnot.
debuffs and other
But
things.
but
Like,
of
dude,
just pure damage, yep, 3 guys.
11 is so much damage, and he ignores the first shove because he's steadfast. He's just steadfast all the time. He has protection all the time. What
Yeah.
more is there to say?
And
What a guy.
if you don't one track him, now he's got as much health as Vader.
Yeah. Dude. Oh,
Yeah.
bro.
And then like the fact that his Unwitting Brute is based off of 2 very common primaries you want to run him with, which means when you activate your primary, as long as he's somewhere nearby, he's running. And there's a realistic chance when you start the game and both primaries are kind of close by, he's just going to get 2 dashes for free.
Dude.
And he's like, cool, I haven't gone, but I've already moved halfway up the board.
It also doesn't specify he has
it's every
to move
dark
towards
side.
them, so.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he just gets to dash wherever he wants, right?
Yeah.
He just has to start within 3 of them. But Separatist Alliance or Dathomirian is every single dark side aligned character basically in the game, except for like Vader, right?
Yep.
So it's Dooku, it's Maul, it's Mother Talzin, it's Maul a second time. Why not? It's Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mom gets to give him a free
If the
dash.
top of the card is red, with the exception of actually no, sorry, there is no exception. If their top of the card is red and they're not, because Vader's top of the card is black.
Yeah. It's not, and also not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it remains to be seen if Cad Bane is going to get the Separatist Alliance or Dathomir, or he's not going to get Dathomir, but it remains to be seen if he gets the Separatist Alliance keyword. But if he doesn't, that'll start to put some variation into who you might want to run Savage with. But currently, it's just kind of, if you're running Dark Side primary, you probably take Savage because holy hell is this guy powerful.
All right.
Should we talk about his damage track?
We should talk about it.
Because that's really good too.
Bro, okay, so now the downside is he has 4 defensive dice.
I don't care.
That is bad. But
Don't care.
he doesn't have a ranged attack. He has only melee, 7 dice. He is 1 to 2 getting a crit and a damage, 3 getting a crit on his attacks, 3 getting a crit, a hit, and a damage, 4 getting 2 crits and a damage. Defensive wise, on a single expertise, he gets an extra block. On 2, he gets a block and a jump, which is pretty good. But you have 2 options. You can go up or down. Up, you're getting 2 damage and damage, and all 3 conditions, or 3 of the 4 conditions, everything but pinned. So you're getting damage and strained, damage and exposed, damage and strained, damage and disarm, and then his active ability, Furious Rush or Dark Fury, mind you. So extra damage. It's crazy. Or 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, more damage with Dark Fury.
Yep.
So
dumb.
With his 9 dice against the primary, you're like, oh, okay, primary, I'm going to guarantee probably like a crit at least and a damage. So let's say you get a crit and a damage and you somehow manage to get to 5 against the primary with your 9 dice and also your extra stuff with, whatever buffs you can give him or your focus. Then you're like 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, and then an average of probably about 3 damage, which is, enough to kill any primary in the game.
Yeah, if you full track along the bottom and you don't go deep, like, because he's a debuff track and a damage track, obviously. If you full track with him, and you choose to go along the bottom track, so you get to proc dark rage or dark fury at the end, he does an average of 11 damage.
Yeah.
Because 5 attack dice are going to average 3 damage with rolling crits and hits. And if you go along the top, you average 9 damage because you're already putting exposed on them with the top, and all the primaries are force users. So like you're getting an extra exposed there, so you're just pinging an extra damage with that. So you're either doing, if you're full tracking, you're either doing 9 damage and a bunch of debuffs, like all the relevant debuffs, or you're doing just 11 damage and just putting someone down.
Yeah, and the extra damage doesn't even have to be on the thing you attack. So, like, let's say you just throw 7 dice and attack some random mook that doesn't have a good damage track, or they're already exposed. Then you're getting to the end of the track, killing them, and then probably wounding somebody else or doing a bunch of damage to them. Or just, I'm going to put all the conditions on you, put some damage downrange on you because I don't care. Dude, guy's nuts.
Like,
yeah,
you put this poor bastard into, like, the 501st, and just like cut them in half and then splash 3 damage onto Obi-Wan because he dared to stand near them. Like,
yeah, honestly, I would like the little wombo combo here that like exemplifies why his 10 health and protection is so good. If you play just this box straight up, he whacks somebody because he did damage, Mother Talzin lets him heal, and then if you say like maybe you killed whatever you have and you don't have any other targets, you get to the full track, you just use Furious Rush and you go sprint over to somebody else. And you're like, well, I'm standing here, might as well Dark Fury, and now you've like if you can just run over to that Jedi, your Force user that's somewhere else, and then just proc damage on them, slap and expose on them, and then Grievous now has an exposed Force user that's like, that looks like Force, I can just go get back. Like, it's crazy what you can do.
Yeah, I was blown away by when this guy's card got released. I was just like, there's just no downsides to him. I guess I would like it if he had 3 durability, but like no secondary has that. Like,
I mean, quite frankly, if they slapped a single durability on him, they could just make him a 7 cost master primary unit, and I would still play him.
Yep. Yeah, he has only upsides. His keywords are great. All of his abilities are great. Like, I guess the downside is like Dark Fury is a little expensive, and he's gonna go unconscious at some point, so that's gonna go up in cost. But like, whatever. Like, as far as I know, he's also the only character in the game that has an ability that upgrades when he gets injured. Oh no, Maul has it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both the Dathomirian characters or Dathomirian males that we have in the game have abilities that upgrade when they get injured. Everyone else can get bent.
Yep. Literally.
He's so good. I love this guy.
By Savage Opress. Man, what a guy. He's probably bad. You shouldn't take him.
Yeah.
Dude.
And he's only a 4-point cost. Like.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I mean, quite frankly,
all even out of keyword, like forget everything else. Dark Fury and Overpowering Monster makes this guy. I think people are just gonna take this guy in every force. Like, I think you just take him all the time. Why wouldn't you?
So
unless
honestly,
you need
I think
heavy synergy stuff. Like, he has so many good abilities, it doesn't matter.
I think he is still good out of keyword. He loses some efficacy, but like he's still fine out of keyword. But like, he is definitely, I would say he is just like straight up overpowered in keyword. Like, he is nuts. So good. I love it so much.
And also his keyword is very wide, right? You don't have to take him in just Mother Talzin Shadowhunter's box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, when I say in
Night
keyword,
Sister
I'm basically
Acolytes,
saying if you're taking him dark side.
Yeah. So, speaking of the Night Sister Acolytes, the Night Sister Acolytes are the last unit in this box. They are a 4-point supporting unit. They have several abilities as well. So they have, as an activated ability, Acrobatic Advance for a force. Each character in this unit may jump. If any characters jumped, they get a hunger token, which is exactly the clone ability, except you get to change levels, which is wild.
I was gonna say, it's like, get rid. If you're holding up a clone card, you might be like, wow, these look like clones, but dark side.
Yeah. No. They don't look anything like clones. What are you talking about? Oh, wait, they literally have coordinated fire. So we talked earlier about how Savage Opress just punks people who are exposed already.
Yep.
And oh look at that, wild coordinated fire exposed. When a character in another allied Dathomir unit makes an attack as part of a combat action before dice are rolled, this unit may use this ability. If the targeted characters within 5 of this unit, they gain exposed. Oh, so you were having trouble getting Savage Opress somehow to the end cap. Now you won't. You'll just get there every time. Who cares? Dude, coordinated fire. I love that it's not called something else like the Jedi Hunters. It's literally just called coordinated fire.
Yeah, they're clearly trying to build something, so it's just a quick reference, like, oh, I have coordinated fire. Which coordinated fire do you have? I have this one. Yeah,
and like, I wonder if they regret doing it with the Jedi Hunters, that they have a thing that is coordinated fire. It's just not called coordinated fire. I don't know. Regardless, though, they have 2 innate abilities: Darkness and Shadows, which is why this unit has 1 or more hunger tokens. They get to add 1 die to their defense rolls against ranged, which is kind of cool. It's a little unique.
Yeah, they just have better hunger tokens.
Yeah.
It's
their ranged hunkers is just 2. It's real good.
It's 2, and then you're in cover, and then that means you're just getting 3 dice, so you're rolling 8 dice in as a ranged defense.
Yeah, it means that they're very difficult to peel at range.
Yeah. And then lastly, they have Night Hunter, their last innate ability. When a character in this unit makes a ranged attack as part of combat action, if it targets an enemy character that's engaged with another allied Dathomirian character, like, say, for instance, Maul or Savage Opress, then it adds 2 dice to the attack roll.
Yep.
Wild. Dude.
And that ability pairs really well with Manipulating Hand as well, because, like, what's a great way to get characters into melee that really don't want to be in melee? Force them to move into melee.
Move them there. Yep.
Yeah, just pick them up and be like, you're over here now.
And
This box is so good. I want
Can-
this box in my hands right now.
yeah, it's like 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out as time of recording.
August 4th.
Early August 4th. Let's do it, kid. I'm gonna be at Gen Con that weekend.
Same.
Oh, we're
Same.
all gonna be at Gen Con that weekend.
Yeah, I
That
plan on
rule.
buying. I plan on either buying these boxes at Gen Con or when I get back from Gen Con because like, man, these
Boy,
these
Oh,
night
boy.
sisters are so good.
They
Spicy.
So we haven't even talked about their backside yet. So they are 5 dice ranged attack. They're both range 5 somehow, which is wild. 6 dice, but like realistically 8. Hopefully, they have 5 dice on their melee attack, 5 and 4 defensive dice respectively. Now the downside, they have no guaranteed crits on their bows. One expertise is a hit, 2 to 3 is 2 hits, 4 is their crit with 2 hits, which is like, quite frankly, as far as expertise tracks are gone, shit, it's bad. Their melee one is a damage and a hit for 1 to 3, and at 4 they get a crit, a damage, and a hit. And their defensive expertise track is 1 to 2 is a block, 3 up is a block, and a reposition, which is a lot of movement shenanigans and stuff. But their tracks, like, they're not gonna put anything in the ground with their track, but it's like,
They're good for like finishing something off.
yeah, damn it, and they can throw a lot of dice in it at the very least. So damage and a pin, damage and a shove, and then you can either go to a single heal or exposed damage, and then jump 2 damage, 2 damage. The last 2 being where all the 2 damage is means they're probably, with no crits, unlikely to hit that. But you know, unlikely to hit that is one thing.
So like, I
It's
mean,
possible, you know?
like a cool combo you can do with them though is just like generally keeping them within range 5 of Savage, because Savage puts exposed on them on people with his melee track. You know, if you're going the debuff track, so he goes in, he slaps an exposed onto them. He's hitting them again, so he's just doing an amount of damage to them, and then these girls shoot in at the exposed target, and it's now much easier to full track with them, and they also are a pretty heavy debuff with their track as well, so they get to benefit from the fact that Savage basically just put every relevant debuff token on them, which jumps their damage up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think there are some interesting they aren't pure damage, but I think there's some interesting combos that you can do with them, and they're really fast.
No, I mean, quite frankly, if they had more expertise crits and they did more damage, this box would probably need to get nerfed into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way you should look at their like expertise track is basically just like, all right, turn your expertise dice into just a hits. It's just, that's all it is you're just getting a couple more hits, and you're like, it's close to 1-to-1. You ideally want to get 1 or 2, or just get crits and hits. But like, it's not the worst track I've seen, but it's definitely on the bottom side. But they kind of need that with all the extra buffs and all the extra stuff they tack on, and
because
them being just better clones.
Because like Mother Talzin is just kind of absurd. Savage is just absurd. So it's like these girls don't need to be world beaters. They're just kind of there to trickle some damage on, finish off people that are trying to run away, use their coordinated fire to slap exposed on people, roll a ridiculous number of defensive dice. I don't love that they're 7 health, I guess, if I was trying to pick something that I don't love about them, but
Yeah, I mean, 7 health, 2 durability. Like, they're a supporting unit. It's fine. They have acrobatic advance and coordinated fire. Their point is not to be survivable. It's to be flexible and move where they need to go. These, I think this box as a whole is a slam dunk. They're super, super cool models. In addition, they have a bunch of cool texture on their robes. They have a bunch of cool texture on their stuff. They're going to take red like nobody's business. Also, like, shout out Loki, buy the red Pearl Grill. It's bold pyro red. It's amazing. You should get it. It's the best red that exists. I don't know. We got to get a Pro Grill sponsorship, dude. They're so good. I can't even say anything. But if
would
you
you say that the Pro Grill is the Dathomirian Witches of Paint?
No, I would say that Pro Acryl is unequivocally the best paint that exists for miniature hobbyists, and that if you don't buy it, you're wrong.
I was trying to give you like a layup comparison there for you, Brandon.
I don't like layup comparisons because, quite frankly, no, Pro Acryl doesn't need layups. It's the best paint that exists. Okay. We're not being paid for this. It's just, I just really like them. I've kind of, I may have drunk the Kool-Aid, but it had Pro Acryl in it, so now I'm mostly Pro Acryl.
Their
No,
ads specifically say to not eat the paint, Brandon.
It does say that, but that was a very recent ad. And also, just so we're clear, that ad does specifically show bold pyro red. Just saying.
Did they make that ad because of you?
No, I cannot look. The settlement said that I wasn't allowed to say anything about that, and I'm not going to. So what I will say is that if you need help building or painting or seeing what people are doing with their Mother Talzin and her Witches of Dathomir in their squad pack, the Witches of Dathomir squad pack, you should check out Goonhammer. Goonhammer is one of the best repositories on the website for any sort of miniature gaming, anything. And if you are a miniature gamer who is listening to this video and you are not checking out Goonhammer, you are incorrect. Please fix it. Check them out, linked below. They're great. Huge fan. Also, check out our Discord. Join us in all of our shenanigans and all of my eating pro grill. No, don't eat pro grill. They say it in the ads. You're right. But basically, I've been Brandon. This has been Ian and Vitali. Vitali, say hello or say goodbye. Ian, say goodbye.
Goodbye or hello.
We've done it. You say goodbye. I'll say hello.
Wooloo.
No, you can't say anymore. We'll get sued. Yeah, no, great box. Like, buy this now. It's so good. Well, don't buy it now because as of recording, it's the 17th. It's not out yet. But I can't wait. I'm gonna witch so many Dathomirs. I don't even know which Dathomirs.
Yeah, like, oh man, I'm so excited for this. I can't, like, I think unironically, Mother Talzin's being like a great Vader counter too, because like Vader's not that fast, and Mother Talzin just being able to be like, hey, you know how you just ran at me? Yeah, you're gonna go over
You know how you
now.
spent your whole turn getting up on this catwalk? Well, actually, we're just gonna stay up on this catwalk. Would you mind just getting off this catwalk? It's reserved.
Can you leave now?
I have to double check the rule for ingress just to make sure that that's actually true. That you can have someone go down. It's, oh my god, the fact that it doesn't specify a move action. You just have to move because I know what they're trying to do with.
I already checked it
That is how
because
ingress works.
that was the first thing that I checked. I was like, please tell me that I have the correct understanding of this, and I did.
Yeah, manipulating points of ingress hand. That's where it's at.
Yep,
Yeah,
you resolve that movement, and you can resolve them down a ladder, up a ladder, and then an inch away from said ladder. It's so much movement.
And it can proc strained. So if you put strained into your list, you're just like, oh man, sure is terrible that you just took 9 damage from Savage. Anyway, why don't you go take 3 more? You have no choice in the matter.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's ridiculous. I love this box so much.
Yeah.